Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to continue our remaining lesson on saying please. So dear students, open your books and see on page number 17. Having searched my pockets in vain for stray coppers and having found I was utterly penniless, I told the conductor with as honest a face as I could assume that I couldn't pay the fare and must go back for money. One day the writer was traveling by bus and he had forgotten his pocket at home. When the conductor came there to give him ticket, the writer put his hand into his pocket and he was searching for money, but he came to know that he had no money. Then he told the conductor that he did not have money and that's why he will get down and go back to his house and bring his pocket and then he travel. But the conductor told him he need not to go back to his house because conductor will pay him for buying a ticket. But writer said, I don't have money. Alright, said I, but I haven't a copper on me. I haven't a copper. Copper means money. I don't have money to buy a ticket. Oh, I will book you through, he replied. Where would you want to go? And the conductor asked him, where are you going? I will give you money for buying a ticket. And he handled his bundle of tickets with the air of a man who was prepared to give me a ticket for anywhere from the bank to Hong Kong. And that conductor was ready to give me ticket to go anywhere. He was not hesitating for giving me a ticket. I said it was very kind of him and I told him where I wanted to go. And writer thanked him. Writer said him that you are a kind man, you are a kind person. And writer told him where writer has to go. I said it was very kind of him and I told him where I wanted to go. And as he gave me the ticket, I said, but where shall I send the fare? Fare means money. But writer asked him, I have to return your money. So where will you meet me, or where should I send money of you? Oh, you will see me someday, all right, he said cheerfully. He turned to go and conductor said, don't worry about money. When you will meet me at that time, you can pay my money back and don't worry about that. And then luckily my fingers still wandering in the corner of my pockets lighted on a shilling and the account was squared. But writer had not sat silent. His fingers were searching for money. In his pocket, he had put his hands into his pocket, front pocket, backside pocket, and he was searching for money. And somehow he got some money into his pocket. And that money was enough for him to buy a ticket. And the matter of buying ticket was settled. The problem of buying ticket was solved. But that fact did not lessen the glow of pleasure which so good-natured an action had given me. But writer had become very happy by the behavior of the conductor. And though he got money and he bought his ticket by giving money, but his happiness was not lowered. It shows the goodness of the conductor, good behavior of the conductor, manners in the behavior of the conductor. Now next passage. A few days after, my most sensitive toe was trampled on rather heavily as I sat reading on to top of a bus. One day writer was traveling by the same bus and writer had sat on his seat and he was reading a book. He was engrossed in reading his book. He was busy with his book, and conductor came there and he trampled the toes of writer. He trampled the toes means he put a foot on the toes of writer, and the conductor had put on heavy boots. That's why it pained to the writer. And writer looked up to see who is there. Writer was angry because of pain, because of agony, and he looked at the conductor. The conductor smiled to the writer, and conductor said him, I am sorry, I trampled your toes, but people are treading my legs every day, treading my feet every day. That's why today I have put on a heavy boot and I am trampling the legs, or I am trampling the feet of people. And he was saying it happily. Writer had become angry because of agony, because of pain, but he forgot his pain, and writer forgave that conductor. I looked up with some anger and more agony and saw my friend of the cheerful countenance. Countenance means face. There was cheer, there was happiness on the face of the conductor. Sorry sir, he said. I know these are heavy boots. Got them because my own feet get trod on so much, and now I am treading on other people's. Hope I didn't hurt you so. He had hurt me, but he was so nice about it that I assured him he hadn't. After this I began to observe him whenever I boarded his bus, and found a curious pleasure in the constant good nature of his bearing. And whenever writer was travelling by that bus, he used to look at the conductor, he used to observe the conductor, and he was always happy, he was always pleasant. He seemed to have an inexhaustible fund of patience and a gift for making his passengers comfortable. He seemed to have an inexhaustible fund of patience, and that conductor had patience. He would never get angry upon anybody, and a gift for making his passengers comfortable, and he always would make his passengers comfortable by his good behavior. He always make his passengers happy by his good behavior. I noticed that if it was raining, he would run up the stairs to give someone the tip that there was room inside. And if it is raining and people are standing on the stairs of the bus because there is no room in the bus, or because there is no place in the bus, there is no space in the bus, then conductor would go to them and he would call them inside the bus. He would make room for them. With old people he was as considerate as a son, and with children as solicitous as a father. And if old men are travelling by his bus, then he would behave them as their son. He would care of them as if he is their son. And if there are small children travelling by the bus, he would take care of those children as he is their father. He had evidently a peculiarly warm place in his heart for young people, and always indulged in some merry jest with them. And if young people are travelling by his bus, then he would mix up with them, he would chat with them, he would talk with them, and he would always make jokes with them, and he would make young people happy by his behavior, by his good behavior. If he had a blind man on board, it was not enough to set him down safely on the pavement. He would call to Bill in front to wait while he took him across the road or round the corner, or otherwise safely on his way. And suppose some blind man is travelling by the bus, and the blind man has to get down. At that time, conductor would say to the driver to stop the bus for some time, and he would help that blind man to cross the road, or he would take that blind man to where he has to go. He would help him to find his way. In short, I found that he irradiated such an atmosphere of good temper and kindliness that a journey with him was a lesson in natural courtesy and good manners. And writer says that the conductor was spreading good manners in his bus. He would make atmosphere happy. He would make atmosphere healthy in the bus by good manners, by his good-natured behavior. What struck me particularly was the ease with which he got through his work. And writer says that writer was impressed by the conductor. What was the main reason behind that? The main reason was that the conductor would behave with people easily. He was young, happy-go-lucky person. He was always happy. He was always pleased. And that's why he was doing his work easily. He was not taking the tension of his work. He had no pressure over his mind of his work. Means he had interest in his work. If bad manners are infectious, so also are good manners. It is said that we are infected by bad manners. If we came in the contact of bad people, we also become bad. In the same way, if we will come in the contact of good people, we also become good person. And that's why writer says that conductor was a good person, and the people who would come in contact of that conductor, they also would become good people. If we encounter incivility, most of us are apt to become uncivil, but it is an unusually uncouth person who can be disagreeable with sunny people. Writer says that when we come in contact of uncivilized people, we also become uncivilized. When we come in contact with civilized people, we also become civilized. It is with manners as with the weather. Nothing clears up my spirits like a fine day, said Keats. And a cheerful person descends on even the gloomiest of us with something of the benediction of a fine day. And here writer says that as manners are important as weather, means as atmosphere is important, in the same way manners also are important. Because if there is a fine day, the beautiful day, that we become happy because of atmosphere, because of comfortable atmosphere, we enjoy that day, we are happy on that day. And writer says that good manners make atmosphere happy, good manners make atmosphere fine, good mannered people make atmosphere beautiful. And Keats says that Keats becomes happy because of a fine day. And if there is a good mannered person can make a gloomy, unhappy person happy. And so it was always fine weather on the polite conductor's bus, and his own civility, his conciliatory address and good-humored bearing infected his passengers. And writer says that always there was fine weather, always there was beautiful atmosphere on the polite conductor's bus. That conductor was a polite person, and that's why the atmosphere in his bus was always happy, atmosphere was always polite, fine, atmosphere was always beautiful in the bus. And his own civility, and the conductor was civilized person, his conciliatory address, means his friendly behavior, he would speak people friendly, he would speak with people as a friend, and good humored bearing and his behavior was like a good human being, infected his passengers, and his good behavior affected the passengers, and passengers would become happy by his good behavior. In lightening their spirits, he lightened his own task, and he was making people happy. And while making people happy, the conductor was enjoying his work. His gaiety was not a wasteful luxury but a sound investment. His gaiety was not a wasteful luxury, and his happiness was not wasteful, but it was making sound investment. Means it was his happiness, his happy behavior, his healthy behavior, his mannered behavior was teaching people manners, and people were learning manners from him. I have missed him from my bus route of late, but I hope that only means that he has carried his sunshine onto another road, and now the bus conductor was transferred. He was not on the route of the writer. He was doing work on another route, and writer says that he had taken his sunshine, means happiness, to another route. Means writer says that conductor may be spreading happiness with other people on another route, on another road. It cannot be too widely diffused in a rather drab world, and writer says that it is not easy. The world is drab, the world is dull. There are many boring people in this world, and to transform boring people into enthusiastic people is not easy work. It is very difficult work to make unhappy people happy, but the conductor had a skill to change unhappy people into happy people. It cannot be too widely diffused in a rather drab world, and I make no apologies for writing a panegyric on an unknown bus conductor. And writer says that I am writing about unknown bus conductor. The bus conductor was not familiar with me. He was unknown to me. Yet I am writing in this lesson about that bus conductor. But writer gives us an example of William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was the great writer, was great poet, and he had written about the poor leech gatherer. The subject matter of his writing was the poor leech gatherer. Leech gatherer means the poor person who collects small worms, who collect small insects on the lonely moor in the desert. At lonely place, the person who is catching worms, and Wordsworth was writing about him. Wordsworth was taking lessons from that person. Wordsworth was inspired that person. It means that here writer wants to say us that we can learn many things from simple men also. We can learn many things in our life from poor people also. We should not neglect the behavior of poor people. We can learn lesson from poor or uneducated people also. If Wordsworth could gather lessons of wisdom from the poor leech gatherer on the lonely moor, I see no reason why lesser people should not take lessons in conduct from one who shows how a very modest calling may be dignified by good temper and kindly feeling. We can learn good lessons from good-tempered people. We can learn lessons from good-natured people, though they are poor. It is a matter of general agreement that the war has had a chilling effect upon those little everyday civilities of behavior that sweeten the general air. We must get those civilities back if we are to make life kindly and tolerable for each other. And writer now gives the example of war. War had affected many people's life. And here writer says that we must get those civilities back if we are to make life kindly and tolerable for each other. writer says that civilization is very important if we have to enjoy our life. If we have to tolerate each other, then our behavior should be civilized. We cannot get them back by invoking the law, but law will not teach us civilization, or law will not help us to bring back civilization. The policeman is a necessary symbol and the law is a necessary institution for a society that is still somewhat lower than the angels. It is said that law is very important and policemen also are very important. It is said that they are lower than the angels, means they are less perfect than God, means they are important for keeping law and order in society. Policemen play important role, the court play important role, but court or policemen can do nothing for teaching civilization, for teaching good manners to people. But the law can only protect us against material attack. Law is there and law can protect us from physical attack. By physical violence help us to nor will the lived man's way of meeting moral affront by physical violence help us to restore the civilities. I suggest to him that he would have had a more subtle and effective revenge if he had treated the gentleman who would not say please with elaborate politeness. And here writer says that liftman did not behave politely with the person who said top, the person who did not use the word please, but liftman behaved rudely with that person. If the liftman had behaved properly or politely with that person, impolite person, then it would have been better for the liftman. He would have had the victory not only over the boor but over himself. And writer says that if he had behaved politely with that person who had behaved impolitely, it would have the victory not only over that person but over his own mind. And that is the victory that counts, and that type of victory is important to win our patience, or to win or to control ourselves. That is very important. Though somebody behaves with us rudely, we should behave with them politely. That is our victory, and that victory is very important for us. The polite man may lose the material advantage. Writer says that the polite man will lose materialistic things, but he always has the spiritual victory. But polite man has godly victory, holy victory. I commend to the liftman a story of Chesterfield. In his time, the London streets were without the pavements of today, and the man who took the wall had the driest footing. I never give the wall to a scoundrel, said a man who met Chesterfield one day in the street. Chesterfield was a politician in London, and at that time there were no pavement beside the roads, and that's why one day Chesterfield was walking beside the wall, and one man came there, and one man said him scoundrel because he was walking beside the wall. But Chesterfield did not behave rudely with that person. He bowed to him and he said, I always do. I always use beside area of the wall. Means he behaved politely with that person. I always do, said Chesterfield, stepping with a bow into the road. I hope the liftman will agree that his revenge was much more sweet than if he had flung the fellow into the mud. And finally, writer says that if the liftman had not flung that rude person into the mud, then the victory of that victory of that person would have been, victory of that lift man would have been better. Here ends our lesson. If you like this video, please like it, comment on it, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.